So Algebra is lucky to have been part of your journey since we first invested in B Square's Series A back in 2018. And now we're coming in and investing in Connect out of our second fund. And if we didn't have this sort of shared context, if we hadn't seen you transition from D Squares to Lucky, it probably would have been very difficult to make that investment. But it's because of this context that we had this confidence in you guys as operators and in you guys as a founding team. But let's sort of move to Connect now. Connect effectively allows businesses to issue cards. You act as a one-stop shop so that companies don't have to focus on anything other than their core competency, and you take care of all of the back-end issues that go with issuing a card. But maybe give us the mission statement for Connect and why now?
Yeah, so the mission statement is enabling embedded finance in Africa and slightly the Middle East. We'll talk about it later on, like what's the expansion plan. So what basically put us in a position that we see this as a very big opportunity. That's one bucket. Where are the problems that we're coming to solve? As a third business, you need to have the energy, you need to have a real mission to do a third business, basically, after all, like 12 years. What we've built across the past 12 years, with the mix of the B2B, the B2C, getting into different sectors, almost most of the sectors on the enterprise side, medium-sized companies, serving them in these squares for 12 years. Give us a lot of, I would say, understanding of the real pain points for those businesses or for those sectors, especially when it comes to the financial services. That's one bucket. Second is doing the B2C side. So doing Lucky as one of the largest prepaid card issuers in the past few years, put us in a position that we know where are the pain points, where are the real issues of any company to do this business again. And putting things together, so putting those businesses with a fintech service, even if it's starting with a core service like card issuance, we found that this formula actually, with the current setup, with the current regulations, with the current infrastructure, it just doesn't make sense that those businesses go from this space to that space, seek a license, build the infrastructure, get things done. It's almost impossible to sustain their core business afterwards.
Because it can take something like a year and a half, 2 years to build the relationship with the banks, get the regulatory licensing, build the technical infrastructure needed.
Yeah, and I think that last one is important. You can do the partnerships, it's going to take time. Maybe some of them seek already that path, but it's more of the investment side. So when you put things together, in terms of infrastructure, getting the regulatory approval, the requirements that you're being asked for, and putting this on the table on a business plan, it just doesn't make sense because your core business is going to be affected. You're going to have a huge set of fees or capex early on. You're going to have a very big opex running this financial service institution, even if you're an agriculture company, even if you're a pharmaceutical company, logistics, supply chain, all of those kind of businesses, even consumer retail, it just doesn't make sense because if you put things together, you'll find that this financial enablement that you're trying to get access to is making your core business lose. So why do I need this financial service? Because it should be actually a growth path to my business. It should be an enabler that is going to take me from step one or from point one to point two. Whether I want to introduce payments, whether I want to introduce rewards, or I want to do like financial service financing, basically. So that's the whole idea of Connect. So we started putting things together, leveraging the assets that we have built. Some of them came as a legacy from even D Squares 12 years back, and putting this along with Lucky on the financial services side. So the issuance, the infrastructure, the relationships with, as you mentioned, like those kind of strong strategic relationships with the financial service providers, the likes of the schemes, Visa, MasterCard, the likes of the banks, in the position of Connect with Bank Misr, the largest in Egypt, and putting those partners as strategically like a corner milestone in our journey early on, makes us actually putting Connect in a leading position to become the banking as a service for Africa.
And just anecdotally, to take viewers back to how we as Algebra got involved with Connect beyond sort of the long-term relationship, we had this thesis that with the rise of embedded finance, fintech infrastructure as a service would be a core gap in the market. And I remember calling you and saying, we were observing that a lot of our portfolio companies, a lot of companies in the market are either trying to capture margin or grow by offering financial services to their stakeholders, customers, suppliers, be that as it may. And whether you knew of any company that was specifically targeting that gap, to which you proceeded to answer that you're working on that.
It was funny, actually, That's basically the kind of investor you want to work on, partners that you want to work on for the future. And I remember that call, and it looks obvious that the investor is asking me about an opportunity. Let's do it. So it was actually a prototype back then. We did what we call Lucky Connect in the beginning, and that was more of a corporate sales channel. This is how it started, and it was clear for us that if this succeeds, could be a completely different business. So when you called, basically, it was the stage that we were almost there with the decision that this is going to be a separate business, a separate company, most probably in a year time. So, and I remember that was the discussion. Are you willing to jump in while it's still basically not that mature, and they believe in the concept, and lucky us, believe in the founders as well, is what makes it work. So and this is how it all started.